Good morning, everybody. So that inflation data was so good and markets could care less. Interesting. I guess this tariff, I call it, I don't know, fiasco, whatever, craziness going on. Um, you saw that what happened. Maybe a delayed response. I don't think so. Markets typically respond immediately. I think it's more stunned from yesterday's whip around. Um, the overnight movement up and then, the other court reversing it, the move back down. And so we see this on the futures anyway, this big topping tail bar, or what I refer to here as a shock bar versus a correction bar. So we covered correction bars in MT Live Wednesday. And so what's the difference, right? Well, correction bars, we look for those kind of movements um, to go with the trend. And so I marked one off here, which is at the beginning, which they're the most reliable at that point, at the start of a move. And then over here, which in retrospect, we know it was not as reliable or not as reliable at all, but prices moving up as much as they have, of course, there's going to be some apprehension about buying nonetheless. I mean, it looks to me like it traded over the bar, and it is what it is. We don't know what's going to happen. So we've gotten these gyrations on news, which is frustrating, but nothing we can do about it. So, there was the pullback, and earlier in the week, in the weekend letter, I mean, my bias was moving averages or not, which held here, was that prices could move down to this area. There was an unfilled gap. That didn't happen. There was, again, the news back up, and yesterday's news created this topping tail bar. And you can see, intraday, that sharp move up, the attempt to continue higher, and then the collapse and just kind of attempting to go higher and didn't work out. So now we've got, some pivot lows here, this spike down recovery. And so at this point, it's like, okay, what do we do as far as markets go? Well, we sit back and wait and see. It's forming a new trading range. That does it move down again at some point, today, moving lower, continuing down from the topping tail, or can it get above this high and, you know, move back up? So looking at this, we recognize individual candles, right? Bar by bar analysis, shock bar, and breakout failure. Um, and now if this was on QQQ, I think it would be more potent because this happened overall pre-market. I mean, I think it opened up higher. We'll take a look at that and then move back down again. But you don't have this topping tail on the Qs or the NDX. So, in not hindsight, but what's happening right now, right? Here's a wide range bar. It's just going sideways at the top of the wide range bar at resistance. So Robert said, it was Robert, is it an M top? Well, it could be. I mean, it's a retest and a reversal up here. So do we get confirmation and moving down? This economic data that came out positively and no reaction could imply that it's going to, but it's a wait and see. Intraday is like, does it break below here? And if it does, then we look for it to go lower. The trend would still be up. So it just could be a sideways choppy range until we see something else. Now, this weekly chart, last week we had this red bar across basically almost every index and a lot of stocks, and there's been no follow through. So you've had this move above. Where does it close today? Is this a red topping tail candle, which would be, you know, more bearish than not? Or just does it close like this? Another boring day going nowhere? So it's a wait and see. As far as the broader markets go, let's see. Does we get some follow through to the topping tail bar? See this, you can see it's starting to inch back down again. But within a trading range. And so, as I'm speaking and looking at this, it's a great lesson here in that if you're trading intraday, this is applicable to all time frames, but you see this 5-minute chart, it's like, oh, wide range down bar, retraces up to minor resistance. You got a little sell set up here. Well, this kind of uh, opposing forces, wide down, not as wide, but wide up into this resistance area. And then I look at the higher time frame and it's just in this little trading range here. It's like, this looks more like it could just be another whipsaw kind of situation versus just looking at this time frame. So we look at higher time frames for a bias. This bias right now is a little bearish to neutral. So standing aside, waiting for more information. All right, S&Ps, same story. Right? Bottom of the range, new top of the range. If you can get back up here, think long into this area up above that created this void. Down below here, think lower. YM, and earlier in the week spoke about, could this be a Head and Shoulders top? The jury is still out, but it's starting to form more of what it could be. What yesterday's whipsaw, overall it went nowhere. Right now we're going nowhere, but you can see, this pattern. So it's an interesting concept. Sometimes you see similar patterns in two time frames. And so we've got this Head and Shoulders type of pattern. On the 65-minute, we've got a Head and Shoulders type of pattern. And there's our neckline. And so just trading range on the right side of it here, waiting to see which way things are going to go. Systematically looking at what is forming a bias and, until things break one way or another, leave this alone. Look at individual stocks, 0 DTE, whatever. Topping tail bar, came up to resistance, back down, overall going nowhere. See which way it goes. Gold been whipping around here, and it is what it is, right? Got a bottoming tail bar. We got this one bearish 180 here. This is just marking time going nowhere. Silver, we've been, for the second time, a little bit of a better pattern. So back here was like, can it break out? We get a breakout. Now it's created a longer base and a tighter pattern. So, this move up many times, it's kind of a bull flag, but usually bull flags have a stronger move, bigger bars, but it has the essence of it in that it's got a momentum move and is slightly grinding lower moves now. So waiting, can it break out? And if it breaks out, go with, right? Yeah, it is tighter. So, go to the website if you haven't found this. It's something that, we put on, I don't know, a month or two ago, a little blog thing. And I wrote a thing about patterns and tighter versus loose. So, I think it's the getting started part of the navigation, you can see where it says blog and, a little drop down there, and one for Dan and one for me. And just click on it, read through it. Some good stuff there. So again, this looks pretty good. Tightening up. Crude oil. Is it a bottom? Is it whatever? Just a lot of marking time. So the last week or two is, pretty much marking time in all markets. And we get into, past Memorial Day and, the summer doldrums and lower volumes and so on. So just be aware. All right. So the Qs were a gap up reversal. It's in an uptrend. And, NVIDIA's like there was some, another Trump comment about semiconductors, which, the semiconductors gave it back yesterday. And of course that pulled the NASDAQ down, but you can see the same move up and back down again and neckline. And and we'll see which way it goes. Right now, it's down a little bit, from yesterday's close, but above the open, and just for the moment, looks like it could be a choppy kind of a day. We always look at the transports to see if something's going on there. Nothing going on there. The Dow, nothing going on there. There's our Head and Shoulders potential top that we reviewed, weekly chart, just marking time. Interest rates doing nothing. Right? Maybe they can go lower. Keep an eye on this. So it's interesting that this is beginning to form, right? A Head and Shoulders top as well, and it's on this major support pivot low prior to a higher high. And does it flip up from here, or does it go down from there? So that could be one of the clues or tells about what the market's going to do. So we would think if it starts to drop, that would be good for the markets. And interest rates going up or down always have implications of, is there inflation, no inflation, stronger economy, weaker economy? So there's a balancing act there, as to, are lower or higher interest rates good or bad? So for the moment, not doing much of anything, and the markets kind of, as it moved down, not really cared. Right? So just a lot of nothing going on. All right, so same story here. Um, gonna break below. What's it gonna do? Flip around. Just keeping it in perspective so that we don't get chopped up. Nobody likes getting chopped up. Yeah. So yesterday, I said this was interesting how these kind of moved in opposite directions, but markets going nowhere. Credit spreads are the vehicle to go with. So interesting. Would come down that far, I guess, just yesterday being what it was. So while things aren't really moving here, yet the influence of yesterday's reversal, as you would think, has brought in a lot more bearish sentiment and betting that prices are going to go down. And they certainly could be absolutely correct on that. And option traders aren't always wrong. They just typically wrong at extremes. And that's why we look at the internals. Did I do now? Something. So see, now they're moving in the same, they're both moving down. So pretty much a standoff there. And in the middle of the range. We'll see which way it goes after 5 minutes or so. All yours, Dan.
Good morning, happy Friday. Zero DTE day for option traders. Coming towards the end of earnings season. Let's look at alarms here first. Dow, this was something Greg mentioned in his video last night. I had an alarm that went off. Just, breakdown. That's the technical setup, breakdown in a downtrend. well, it's a gap breakdown. So I have that in a little thumbnail. I'll be watching for an entry on that. What else? I don't have any alarms at all here. Guild, we were watching as a directional yesterday. My up alarm went off, and then looks like it's back flat. I sold some naked puts on it, but still looks great as a directional. Look at XPI. Gapping down here, so I reset the alarm up here at 80.40. IBB is another one, but typically less liquid. And now, see, this is actually a great relative strength test this morning. So just look at the gap down on the 15-minute chart. Look how deep this one is in IBB. And look at XBI. It's less. So the dailies look fairly similar, but there's something in XBI that's outperforming, or something in IBB that is underperforming. So I got my alarm. IBZ. Thomas, not sure. I don't like it as a swing. But day trade over yesterday's high, sure. There's a void up here, sure. I can't tell where it's opening. It's a bottoming pattern. Still in a downtrend, right? Daily, weekly, lower lows, lower highs. But it could be the start. It's a close above the 20. You had a little bottoming tail on Wednesday. Not sure about the target, but yeah, there's bottoming. Oh, that's it on alarms. Let's go to earnings here. Well, this was yesterday. Look at this dew igniting. Yeah. Look at that 15-minute chart. Wow, that's one of the best things I've seen here from the long side. So igniting gap on volume from a bottoming pattern yesterday. I was hoping we'd get a 1, 2, 3. But look at this 15-minute chart. It's gapping over this end of day base. Ascending triangle thing. So that looks fantastic. Let's keep an eye on that. DRI. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I got my alarm. TFX is a short watch. But it could possibly be the start of a bottoming pattern, but there's no evidence of that yet. Downtrend daily, weekly, monthly. So I have an alarm, I think at 120, 120. OGN, Greg mentioned yesterday on his video. Let me set a new alarm at 9:52. Yeah. The actual entry obviously is over yesterday's high, but at 9:54, I would set early alarms just to reassess, get the trade alert ready. CRWV. I've been watching this thing for a month. I shorted naked calls on it yesterday, right on this breakdown. That was a perfect intraday entry using the 15 in the daily. Not doing much here. See if it bounces, maybe do a 0 DTE. A workday had an ugly gap on earnings. And I think it's going lower, particularly if the broader markets do. It couldn't bounce. You got 3 inside days, you got a bearish weekly, and you got a void. So the evidence suggests lower unless you get a nice closing breakout or reversal there. All right, now we'll go to earnings. Like as you see, I don't have a big watch list at all. Marble, that was a bearish end of day base, gapping down. It's bearish pre-market 61. That totally looks lower. That's a 0 DTE call spread idea. That looks good. Man, and a short path. That's a big bullish gap, but too big for me. Gap. It's a big, ugly gap. But look, it's getting close to this 250 in support. I got that in the bottom right. AEO gapping down 10%. That's ugly. I said yesterday that was a potential bottoming pattern. Um, had it open flat, obviously, and then I'm going over yesterday's time. Yeah, Delta 20, yep, Alta, yeah, I'm getting to that in a second. But that's a bullish close with a bullish weekly monthly. So I definitely had a bullish bias on that yesterday. But the question is, what do you want to do with it? Just saying that something's gapping up is totally meaningless to me. Because we're picture traders. What time frame, what strategy, what are you thinking? A gap this big, I'm thinking day trade short and 30-minute low call spread, 0 DTE, just because it's successful. And then looking for a controlled pullback for a swing, but it's gapping up $50. So I, I I'm just guessing it's going to be weeks away before I get a pattern that would interest me in wanting to buy it as a swing. Um, right, still 112. It's actually gapping to yesterday's low, but it's in this. Look, here's your flag. So this is a bull rectangle. Draw your rectangle. So nothing to do now. Zulu Sierra 264. Now, see, I'd much rather swing trade this as a possible new long than Alta. Why? Because it's closer to support. It's closer to support as the answer. But then that's bullish pre-market also. Cool. 73, that's a big gap. Now, I always like to give you hypotheticals to give you examples of what I consider tier one. So hypothetical, if it gapped here to 7750 area, see my line, just anywhere now around this weekly low, I'd be looking to then short it into this void. But now gapping to here, the reward to risk is all out of whack for a swing. Day trade, I have no friggin' idea. If you I can't watch everything. I only want to watch my tier ones. And so that's not a tier one anymore. But I'll come back at 10 o'clock when I go through this and weed them out. All right, 92. Gap's too big. So that looks lower as of now, but there's no entry. ESTC 7850, another big gap. Ideally, this one will sell off another $5 or so, and then we can maybe get an intraday entry. But right now, it looks horrible. Although we talked about Costco. That's a pretty anemic move for $1,000 stock. And look how chaotic it's been lately. Look, every one of these, it's trading very unpredictably. So nothing there. AMBA, I don't show any prints. But if this breaks down, then this is also a bull rectangle. So it's actually a pattern you could trade up or down. I see I don't know, I need more volume. But I'll keep an eye on it. Papa Delta, I'm gapping down 15. Trades. Shit. Greg and Alex, my big computer, I just got an alarm saying TradeStation has experienced a problem and needs to shut down. The error here. What the hell? But my laptop's fine. It says local cache system corrupted beyond repair. Beautiful. Please close all boxes. Yes. This is not what a trader wants to experience in about 2 minutes before the market opens. Close all dialog boxes. I am. And I was just on with trading. I know I will, but I said, do you think it's making me happy right now at 9:28? All right, but this laptop is fine so far. But I can't shut down. I can't reboot the computer because then I'll lose my mic here. All right, I'm just shit. I'll just at the open here. I'll just work off the laptop and then maybe in 10 minutes reboot them. Red Robin 442, gap's too big. That's hamburger coming. Chow recent IPO doing nothing. Oh, Tiger. This one, if it opens flat, which it looks like it is, call spread and 30-minute low. To Carnival. Now, had it gapped up here, then it would have been a potential bottom. Oh, maybe it'll come back. CQC marijuana continues to disappoint. Sam, these were on your list. This one, I just don't like the reward to risk for a swing, HLF, but day trade maybe. Uniform I like. Uniform looks great. I had an alarm at 2450. So that looks good. Your VVX alarm, Sam. A nice end of day base. It's on this major support, but it's a 180 in a downtrend. So this, it has a void over here. So this one, let's give it 5 minutes or so. Look at this do I mentioned. Gap, I got on the other computer, even though the other computer's not working. Let's put VVX here, Sam. Delta Kilo. These are Sam's list. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4 I like. Airbnb got a downgrade, but that's a mess. There was a store. Look at this SBIT, man. Came out of a coma. Look at this. $3 stock is now 108 bucks. Incredible. No, man, I can't shut down TradeStation. We'll delete. So I don't know what the heck's going on with this SharpLink gaming company. Look at do. Ah, shoot, the do is run too much. I really wanted a 1, 2, 3 on that. VVX. All right, all right, I shut down TradeStation. Let me reopen it without rebooting the computer, just because I don't want to lose my microphone. Not sure if it will work. Yeah, it's not even allowing me to open it up. And guess what,
Happened, Dan?
Guess what, Alex? Yesterday I did the whatever TradeStation update. It just wigged out, so it had a error and had to shut down. Something about it. I took a screenshot of it. Well, but I thought this was the one that I didn't do 3 weeks ago. All right, so let's see if he'll reboot now. I still got my laptop. All right. So this, I would like it better, maybe 30-minute low, just to prove, but I like the better end of day base. It's light volume. You can see these dots. But that's a good candidate, I'm saying. Greg, this down, good to go now?
Uh, Trying to open up TC. Now, taking forever. Like, I guess it's got a new version downloading. It's taking too long to look at it over here. Do a half lap. The stop's got to be above yesterday's high.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Market's just whipping around here.
All right, got that posted. Greg, look how Netflix stopped us out. Look at that nasty crack of this. Man, that's so annoying. Fuck. Spot. And the answer is no, Alex, but I don't remember being in it. You would have to check the trade history. Oh, Sam. All right, my bad. All right, my screen finally is up showing my sectors. And I see a lot of ugly wide range bars. Bio, XLV, bots, XME, XLB. Oh, all the oils sectors all have ugly 15-minute down bars. down. Down. Yeah, spiders here. Yep. You know, based on the weekly, I have my biases lower here. Diamonds, Qs. Qs, let's look at zero DT cluster. Hmm, 526.
Maybe Tesla and Nvidia have zero DTE.
13 cents. Looks lower. That might be a day trade short. Tesla. Yeah, let me look. 368. Sam, DRI alarm. That was on your list. There's no juice. Tesla, zero. Video. 144. $0.06. All right, one more screen for my trade station to come back up. Well, AD line gap down to negative 1150. I'm back in business. Let's see if it holds. Hey, DRI looks fantastic, Sam. I would love it if it closed like this. So you just got to decide about how you want to scale in. 15-minute high, 30-minute high, yesterday's high, a couple of options. But daily looks great now, weekly. That dude ran too much. Let's put DRI there. ACIW alarm. We did a half lot yesterday. Here, we can do the other half right now. That's about 370. Yeah, but what do you get for it? Oh, okay. So yeah, you're taking pennies. ceding a lot of buying power and. Yeah, I mean, that's more of a trade for here and, like for the subscribers. Google would would be another one. And Sony 5.
Google got this court thing going on. You know, that could give me a news bite you, you know.
All right, yeah, I'm not doing it anyway.
DRI looks good. One, two,
Yeah,
three, four.
that's Sam and I have been talking about it for 5 minutes.
I don't pay attention to you two guys.
I didn't, it's obvious.
Frenchie and the chat of social media pointed it out to me.
Well, because he probably heard me talking about it.
Maybe. I would think so.
Yeah, we're in RSG also. Oh, good, and then we can move the stump. 252.18. Yeah, I got the DR right here in the middle chart, so we can watch an entry.